All right, so everyone, welcome. So it's always quite something to start the moment together, because it's like everything is happening at the same time. We're entering into a recognition of our oneness. Like you could say, like we experience light. When you can come in, you can feel that. Like there's an yeah a moment of togetherness already before we start even. And then it seems like you have to take care of that, at least when I speak for myself, I have to take care of certain things that it all works out fine too. Like, okay, yeah, come on in. Yeah, come on in. And yeah, come on in and join in. Like, don't wait for anything and just be yourself and receive this. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a bit what happens when this meeting starts, or any meeting at least where we come together. Like there's immediacy for the experience. There's an immediate possibility for an, say, increase of the frequency of an opening up to what is there, what is true about you, and the recognition of each other in that becomes more and more direct. It's like you don't have to socialize, you don't have to do all kinds of social activities in order to. You can say hi, of course, but it's like the focus is on the experience more than anything else. The rest, yeah, okay, so yeah, we can take care of that too a little bit, but it's not our main focus. So the main focus is really the invitation to receive, to say, come into to communication, literally an inward communication with your creator. You can't wait to get there. Yeah, so that's great practice in the spiritual healing practice. That's where the healing occurs like instantaneously. So wonderful. So I love that. And so today we continue. I've a little bit of a program, not really, not very much. We start with a meditation, and which is really like the miracle prayer of today, which is so perfect, always, like, but today too, so perfect. But before I do that, let me just ask you a question. Is there anyone who was like who participated in the class yesterday that actually saw in the last 24 hours an increase in the conflict in its domestic or relationship areas? Did anyone see an increase of conflict in? Okay, yeah, it's not necessary, but could be. You never know. So it's like when healing occurs, when some idea comes down into us, like into the remembrance, is also like it can increase if you hear it. You cannot do certain things anymore. Like when you hear to a spiritual teaching, or when you suddenly discover something that wasn't there before, that opens something up in you. So that can also result in an increased conflict. Not that it has to be that way, but for yourself it can be like, well, whatever I tried to do before, that's not working, and now I hear something else, and actually I want to apply that. I want to see that at work, which is great to practice, of course. And so that can result in some extra sense of conflict. So anyway, so I wanted to ask that. And so the next thing that we're going to do, which is also in perfect alignment with discovering our new presence, really, and say discovering our new me, your new me, in your daily affairs, but most of all in your own experience of yourself. So that's why we use the meditation for. Now I repeat this meditation. I didn't record it yet, but I did make a visual for it. So it is like I'm going to twice read it, and then Michelle sent in a recording. She will share it in French, and just to keep it, yeah, say bilingual to a certain degree. Yeah, I do my best with it. It is kind of a nice way of being here together. Whether your native tongue is like French or English, it would be nice if that could work even better together. So who knows how that opens up in next year. But for now we do it like this. So this is lesson 348 of the Urtext of A Course in Miracles. We're getting to the latest lessons of the year. Like, I have no cause for anger or for fear. I have no cause for anger or for fear. For you surround me, and in every need that I perceive, your grace suffices me. Father, let me remember you are here, and I am not alone. Surrounding me is everlasting love. I have no cause for anything except the perfect peace and joy I share with you. What need have I for anger or for fear? Surrounding me is perfect safety. Can I be afraid when your eternal promise goes with me? Surrounding me is perfect sinlessness. What can I fear when you created me in holiness as perfect as your own? God's grace suffices us in everything that He would have us do, and only that we choose to be our will as well as His.
Je n'ai pas de cause de colère ni de peur, car tout est autour de moi, et dans chaque besoin que je perçois, ta grâce me suffit. Père, laisse-moi me souvenir que tu es ici et que je ne suis pas seule. Tout autour de moi est l'amour éternel. Je n'ai pas cause de quoi que ce soit, sauf de la paix et de la joie parfaite que je partage avec toi. Qu'ai-je besoin de la colère ou de la peur? Tout autour de moi est la parfaite sécurité. Puis-je avoir peur quand ta promesse éternelle vient avec moi? Tout autour de moi est la parfaite impeccabilité. Que puis-je craindre quand tu m'as créé dans une sainteté aussi parfaite que la tienne? La grâce de Dieu nous suffit dans tout ce qu'il voudrait que nous fassions. Et c'est cela seul que nous choisissons pour être notre volonté aussi bien que la sienne.
The Cosmic Spirit by Sri Aurobindo. I am a single self, all nature fills. Immeasurable, unmoved, the witness sits. He is the silence brooding on her hills, the circling motion of her cosmic might. I have broken the limits of embodied mind, and am no more the figure of a soul. The burning galaxies are in me outlined. The universe is my stupendous whole. My life is the life of village and continent. I am Earth's agony and her throbs of bliss. I share all creatures' sorrow and content, and feel the passage of every step and kiss. Impassive, I bear each act and thought and mood. Time traverses my hushed infinitude.
Whatever name you give it, what really happens is that an ordinary human being with no other knowledge than his own human mentality in an instant becomes aware of something greater than himself, something greater than his mind, something greater than his knowledge. In fact, from now on, from this Christmas moment, the moment of the divine birth, knowledge and wisdom pour into the individual far greater than anyone has ever had from the reading of books. Now, the Master, in teaching this, revealed that before Abraham was, I am. Therefore, this that I am, this transcendental self, this divine consciousness, existed before the birth of Jesus. In fact, it existed before Abraham was. And Abraham, you know, the reason he used the name Abraham was that Abraham was considered to be the father of the Hebrew race, the origin of the Hebrew race, the beginning of the Hebrew race. And therefore, before the Hebrew race began, this divine consciousness existed. And it existed to manifest itself forth as the experience of Abraham, Moses, and now Jesus. But before Jesus, it existed. Therefore, the important part of Christmas is not that Jesus was born, but that Christ was revealed. And this is the important part of Christmas now. Not that we should celebrate the birth of a man, though this does not detract in any way from our love of the man or respect for the man or devotion to that man's devotion, but rather that we understand why we have this feeling of veneration, of love for Jesus Christ. Because he was one of the few who had the courage to reveal to the world that this is not the secret about a holy man, But this is the secret of a holy consciousness which is available to all mankind, all who will open themselves to the Christ, that which was before Abraham. As you read this story, as you hear this story, year in and year out, eventually it gets under your skin. It gets beyond your mind and reaches that area of you which can be awakened. Every child that is born has an area of his consciousness which is dormant. And insofar as mankind is concerned, most men go through their entire lifetimes, and women, without this area of consciousness ever being awakened. It is only the few in the history of the literature of the world, only the few, who have ever had the experience of the awakening of that dormant part of consciousness. Well, for centuries it was believed that this could only happen to the few. Ah, yes, back in the days of Egypt and up until 200 AD, it was known that those who had an inclination toward the spiritual and who could find a teacher on the spiritual path could be awakened. After that, in the Western world, this teaching was omitted from all teachings, and therefore the only record we have of any who have been awakened of those who came to it through some inner experience of their own without being able to account for it. One such illustration, you know, is the experience of Jacob Böhm, the German cobbler, who, for some unknown reason, while actually cobbling in his shop, looked up and saw the sun shining on a rock. And something happened between himself, within himself, and that ray of sunshine on the rock. And all of a sudden this inner consciousness was opened, and he discerned spiritually. He saw reality. And of course he became the father of the mysticism of the Middle Centuries.
With what the coat hanger, they call it. Yeah. No, let's try it. No, we're really genuine. What's a miracle? Yes, I know, but what's a miracle?
Right. I am.
Yes, I know. But tell me what a miracle is. Say it any way you want. The question will remain, what's a miracle? Okay? So, and this went on yesterday, because all illuminate minds know that a miracle, for you sitting right there, a miracle is what you are. A miracle is a totally inclusive realization of the beauty of this world in our relationship with God and each other. Okay? His response, yes, I know, but what's a miracle? I need for you to report to me what a miracle is. It's kind of fun. There was an article, some guy suddenly looked at the New Testament. This is kind of fun. I'll share it with you, Walter. Never, not one single time in all of the New Testament does our Savior Jesus Christ respond to the questions that he's asked. Not once. Every time they ask him something, he responds in an entirely different way, which is precisely what was frustrating our lovely reporter. He is attempting to report an occurrence that literally cannot be reported because the reporting of it is the denial of it, or the need to know what it is outside of the parameter of the occurrence. Could you hear that? So when they said to, let's try Jesus once more, and he said, Jesus, give us a sign. This is what he was really saying. Give us a sign of a miracle. Say that.
Give us a sign of a miracle.
Here I am.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
Huh? And he tries to define it. Perhaps he says something like, red in the morning, sailor, take warning. What he says is any sign is going to confirm what you want to hear within your relationship of yesterday and tomorrow. Will you come to see with me that I am your present condition? So I'm standing, I really love this guy. But he absolutely, finally, refused to let us, perhaps, and perhaps he won't, report our emotional experience of the discovery of our shared solution to the problems of the pain and death and loss and love and contradictions of existence and needs to love and searches for needs to find us out. He was not really concerned about that. See, a correspondent who will not, some way, now I'm going to send, I'll send this to him, let himself become at least in some manner empathetically involved in our discovery, there would really be no way that he could correspond. Sometimes I was laughing at, I wish they would have given me, because I teach from my experience, but I teach, it's not my experience, it's what I became because of my experience. And amazingly enough, I'm talking to you out there in the world, there's a lot of you out there who, when you see this video, I think it's, what's the name of that program?
48 hours.
It may be on 48 hours. And I want you to see that I was attempting to share with him my experience, not based on his observation of my experience, but his willingness to accept, a little willingness, to accept from me the outcome that we share in an emotional resolution based on the experience. And I know it reduces, but you were in combat and you did that. That didn't work with him. What surprises me, and I'm talking correspondence for a minute, as some sort of an old newsman. Generally speaking, an interview in depth will acknowledge an empathy with what is being said by the association, even though there is no participation in it. Let's try something. If you would have given me a war correspondent, if you'd have given me a foreign correspondent, I guess fundamentally what I needed was someone who was willing to admit perhaps they had walked in our shoes. Class? Because you'd have to somehow acknowledge, I've been through this. And, you know, if I said, well, I stood at the atomic bomb area where 100,000 people had been wiped out 10 days before, and I was celebrating the victory, that I was experiencing as a young Marine, knowing I was going to be saved. There's an ambivalence connected with that that's a genuine experience.
Yes.
It just, yes, I know, but what's a miracle? And I said the beginning of the miracle was my realization that I needed to find a purpose or a reason for you and I to share together the pain and love and loss that we're sharing. Yes, I know, but what's a miracle? We're a miracle. We are a miracle in the discovery of the alternative, okay, of a spiritual source of reality that we had all been utilizing in the limitations of ourself and only perhaps found together in the moment of the chaos. They're trying to replicate that a lot in the war movies today. Bless their hearts. I want them to do it. I can't watch them. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch them. When I talk to some of the guys, some of them watch them, some of them can't. There's no way you can determine.
All right, thank you so much. Oh wow! Well, how did we end up here? See, it's great to see what happens in your mind when you become quiet, and to see that that's not the end, and that you can go in all directions, in fact. So what happened just now was that we had a quiet moment, and then there was some incredible music, but I wanted to hear the voices that I shared, that I found today, sharing what they share, to extend it to you. And you see that they come from different angles, quite different, but actually telling the same thing. And so the thing that I'm actually illustrating with this is no matter who you hear speaking or talking, it is referring to you, to your experience of yourself. It's like whether that's directly that you are inspired by what you hear, or that you feel like, wow, I have no idea where this comes from, I don't know how to relate to it, or who knows what happens. See, but the thing that is the common common in all of this is openness, and is receptivity, and recognizing the beauty that is a total part of you. You know, in terms of this has everything to do with my essence. And then you see what the purity in which it is given by or Sri Aurobindo, or by the musician that made the music, Arvo Pärt, or by Joel Goldsmith, who's really trying to express something here from deep within his deeply within his own inspiration. So he stands there just for you to express that to you, because he wants you to recognize it. He wants you to join in it, not to say like, oh, I'm such a great teacher. No, just for the recognition of yourself, of the truth of who you are. Like, and that's such a delicate thing. And you see with Master Teacher too, he's trying to express it. Like he had a reporter coming over for an interview, and this reporter kept asking him, what is a miracle? Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you're saying, but what is a miracle? And he doesn't get it because he doesn't want to get involved in it. So he stays at a distance, in fact, and say feeling fear to enter into the actual idea. And in fact to connect with it. Just like we do here, it's like you will have to connect with what is being shared, no matter who is sharing. Like this relationship that is here right in front of you, demonstrating its discovery, like literally trying to share with you its discovery, just for the sake of recognizing our connectedness, our oneness in the universe, in God, it's like that is the greatest joy that you will ever experience, and the only joy that you will experience. That's why this is so beautiful. So, and Joel says this too, is like, in fact, like the change that occurs for the individual, for a human being, for instance, having suddenly an opening is everything. It's like that was literally taken out of the script of many churches, like not to have a personal experience. So it only would happen spontaneously, and then you would know that somebody had it. But it would definitely not be taught. Like, well, whatever happens here on earth, you're not going to have that experience, you're going to have it later. Now this thought reference, you could say, this religious thought reference, is still like a thing in our consciousness. It's still something, and you listen to it less and less and less. But it's like there's still a tendency not having to do this because of an idea that you learned literally from the past, like this is not for you. You'll have to wait. No, yeah, that will come. So that's what came to me too, what Joel is sharing. Like he talks about Jacob Boehme. He had a spontaneous awakening. That was literally like the only way it could come to you, because the religious scripture was not available for everyone to have an experience of love, of God, of totality. It's literally like taken out of the script. So this is great. So now, okay, we have so much provision of, in fact, this instruction to come to an awakening, and that's so beautiful. So whether you do this in a poetic form, like Sri Aurobindo writes mostly in poetic form, but taking you to a place and using words and say images, you could say, that are actually taking you out of this, or are confronting you with exactly where you find yourself. So it's very interesting to read. And then coming back to Joel, Joel gives us the instruction, like the dedication of Joel to express this on a continuing basis, to keep pounding this back into the people that are there, that are actually opening up to listening to this, seeing that it's still alive. It's like now, you post a video and people come and actually listen to it. So it's like that is still something that is helping everyone to come to the recognition, and slowly but certainly, say in fact, say allowing themselves to come to this intimate place inside themselves where you are opening up to what is shared. And the intimate part that I'm saying has nothing to do with physicality, of course. It just has to do with like an open-mindedness, a receiving, but a totally, what Master Teacher later on says too, is like a total emotional involvement in it, not having any, not having anything holding back to get to the bottom of this experience, to allow that experience to be total, despite of your definition of yourself. Like, that is the way to let that be released, or let it be cleaned out, and allowing yourself to be that. It's like that's really like spiritual healing practice, you could say. I love that about this. So the 3 examples that were just given are just pretty amazing, pretty amazing. So I'll repeat it once more.
L'heure est au calme.
Said the straight man to the late man, where have you been? I've been here and I've been there and I've been in between. I talk to the wind, talk to the wind. The wind does not hear. The wind cannot hear. I'm on the outside. I'm looking inside. What do I see? Much confusion, disillusion all around me. I talk to the wind. My words are all carried away. I talk to the wind. The wind does not hear. The wind cannot hear. I talk to the wind. Wind. My words are all carried away. I talk to the wind. The wind does not hear. The wind cannot hear.